Alright, it will be time to run the new missions that have been released alongside with the tier 4 rigs. Basically you have the missions in high-sec, low-sec and in null-sec, and I will start with null-sec because the reward is supposedly the best over here. And we have a decent fleet of couple apocalypse strikers prepared for this mission. Now, I don't know what kind of loot to expect from the mission. I've heard that I can get materials that can be used in reverse engineering the blueprints, so it should be fun. This is the first time that I am doing a mission like this, so I don't know what to expect. I have been told that they can be quite difficult in NullSec. That's why we have prepared a couple Apocalypse Strikers for this job. The Apocalypse Striker is one of the best ships for overall PvE. Now this ship is fitted for range. I use triple tracking computers, and I use beam lasers. Have around 120 km optimal range with this ship, with over 300 km range if I activate all 3 tracking computers at the same time. But I don't have to use all 3 at the same time. I will cycle them through one by one. Now the first targets will be the smaller ships, frigates, destroyers, cruisers, things like that. Basically we have to shoot down the fastest ships in order to kill the tackle ships first. I've heard that the elite ships in this mission are dangerous, so the elite ships will also be focused when they appear. Now I think we have around 5 different waves. This is the first wave, and the number of ships will progressively get higher with every new wave. So in the end I expect around 45 ships. That's what I expect based on what I have been told. Although there is several different missions, and I think every mission will have different numbers of ships that will spawn in. I plan to use the Balgorn for the high-sec mission, because I think the Balgorn can do that. And also, this is a very nice view to see all of these Apocalypse Strikers lurking around. Now all of them have a target painter. I have triple webs and a scrambler. Basically, I keep the fleet safe from any potential tackle ship that might jump in our mission, because this is NullSec and you never know what can happen. So my goal is, if we get jumped, I can easily web and scramble the target. Everything else is pretty easy. The Apocalypse Striker can hit ships at close range if they are heavily webbed with the beam lasers. This ship has some pretty scary tracking. Okay, this is wave 2 out of 5. We have 20 ships that have spawned in. This mission is valued at 7 million, which is not bad, honestly, pretty good. If you have a carrier, this should be very easy. Maybe I should have brought a carrier, but I thought that it felt like overkill. Now let me quickly focus down the tackle ships. The frigates and interceptors have been destroyed very quickly. The Apocalypse Striker does a very good job against small ships. Fantastic tracking. Even against small ships, you can technically hit them with the siege mode active without a problem. In the case with this apocalypse striker, I actually forgot what rigs I have on this ship. I think this is a DPS apocalypse striker. Basically, I did get this ship a long time ago, but I didn't fly it that often. Basically a ship that I used to fly when we were running around NullSec smashing camps. We have 10 more ships left in the second wave. Now the map that they use for this is looking pretty nice. Although this current map, that station, has a little problem with the hitbox. If you try to orbit close to it, your ship can get stuck. So I really don't want to get close to the station, because if you get stuck here, then I think the chances of losing a ship is actually pretty high. So far I have been told that the ships that we are going to fight here are pretty dangerous, so we will play this very carefully. And so far I think we are doing a pretty good job. 6 ships left in the second wave. Now I noticed that the pirate ships here are actually repairing each other, and they know how to focus their repairs on the most damaged ship. And I find that really interesting. Not really sure if that's something new. I haven't been doing missions in a very long time, so I might be surprised at something that has been already a thing for a very long time. But I noticed that they do that. They actually repair the most damaged ship. They actually focus the most damaged ship with the remote armor repairs. And I think that's a very nice little attention to detail, or should I say that's very nice on the developers to introduce in the game. Makes the fights a lot more dynamic. Okay, 2 ships left in the second wave. 1 Hyperion left. Let's quickly delete that ship. Now, the Apocalypse Striker has capacitor issues, and I have dual capacitor batteries that I use from time to time, depends on when I need capacitor. But the beam lasers do take a lot of capacitor, they use a lot of capacitor, so capacitor batteries, if you are running a sniper apocalypse, is a pretty good idea. Although you have the Apocalypse Striker with the heat sinks and with the capacitor batteries, because with the heat sinks you actually increase the capacitor use, because the weapon will be activating a lot faster, which in result will consume a lot more capacitor. Now what do we have here? 29 ships have spawned in. Okay, let's focus on the tackle ships, frigates, destroyers and cruisers, as well as tackle elite ships will be focused as primary target. I am still aligned to the station. Basically, 1 cycle with the microwave drive should be enough to quickly propel me towards the station. And I think we have destroyed all tackle ships of the third wave. That was actually pretty fast. Let me focus on the other ships. We have 1 Serpentis Brutix Guardian that is approaching us with the afterburner or microwave drive. I will disable the siege mode to apply better damage on that ship, and I think that one should be the last elite ship that is carrying a scrambler and web. I haven't heard of anyone losing their ship yet, because most pilots use sniper ships and they warp at 100 kilometers, but I'm pretty sure if you don't have a good tank and if you warp at a close range in one of the final waves, then the ship might be in some trouble. Because I feel like those ships have pretty good DPS. Now, I might be wrong again. I am basically learning things as I run this mission. So what I hear might be incorrect, and feel free to correct me if I am wrong at basically anything. Ooh, the frame drops. Yeah, this is what happens when I decide to play on this high resolution display. But it's fine. I think the lag came from all of the remote armor repairs that were working on that Celestis. Overall, a very nice attention to detail with the remote armor repairs. I really like that. The pirate ships behave a lot more like players now, and that is something that I haven't realized up until this moment. A very interesting thing, which means that the pirate ship AI might be even more improved into the future, and that is going to be very interesting. Now, I think most of you have heard about the parade that will be going on here in the game on the 18th or 19th of August, basically next month. And I'm very curious to know, what do you think will happen? I have seen a lot of speculation that our ships might actually be attacked by sleepers, basically a surprise attack during our flight, which should be fun because we will have around 50 different corporations all flying in the same system, and the corporations will be flying in a formation and in a fleet, I believe. So if a random wormhole opens and if sleepers decide to go and attack our ships, well, then you've heard it here first, and my prediction might come true. But we will see what will happen. That's just a fun little speculation that I did. I'm very curious to know what will happen, because so far it's very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to the game's anniversary. I really think that this is going to be very fun if it ends up like I think that it will end up. And so far I think everything is pointing towards that direction, but again, we will see. As for my corporation here, I think we will fly like 20 Belgorns or something like that. If we actually can send capital ships, we will send around 10 revelations with 10 Belgorns or something along those lines. Basically the best ships that our fleet has to offer. And I think we might have one of the nicest looking fleets, but we will see. Because you know that we have some very expensive and good looking ships in Corporation, including battleships and including dreadnoughts, as well as a lot of expensive cruisers. Although I will almost 100% fly the Balgorn for that, because that ship became... the Balgorn became so iconic, I just can't missed the opportunity to fly it at such a special occasion. Well, we have a new wave and we have around 30 plus ships that remain. So far, I think we are doing a pretty good job at clearing everything. It does appear to be a pretty chill mission if you are using sniper battleships like we are using at the moment. And I think it was a pretty good choice that I picked the Apocalypse Striker for this. I actually did think to drop the revelation on this mission, but I decided not to because, well, that thing is a big target and it takes a very long time to move the revelation anywhere because that thing is super slow. So in the end, I have decided to go and yeet the Apocalypse Striker for this, and so far with pretty good results. Although you will have around 25, 30, maybe 50,000 alpha damage, but it will take a while for the weapons to fire, and that is, I think, the downside of the Tempest Striker. Now, would I use the Balgorn for this? Absolutely no. The Balgorn with beam lasers is a little bit weird, because the Balgorn is pretty good at close range, but above 50 kilometers the effect of the Nosferatus and neutralizers already is starting to be ineffective, and of course the Balgorn has 30 kilometer webs, which means you should use the Balgorn within the optimal range of all of those modules, and that is around 30 kilometers. 29.6 kilometers to be more accurate. But that's okay. I will still attempt to run the high sec mission with the Balgorn. Not really sure about the low sec mission. Maybe I will run it with the Balgorn, but maybe I will use the Apocalypse Striker again. We will see, depends on the situation. We have 12 more ships on this wave, and that's a lot of wrecks, by the way. Wonder how many wrecks will there be after we destroy all of the ships. So far it looks to be going pretty smoothly. Did have a idea to try this alone, but at the same time I have been told that it will take a very long time, and I personally didn't feel like running a mission for 2 hours. It's been a while since I actually did run any encounter or any storyline mission in NullSec. Most of the encounters that I do is when I test a ship out, but besides that I only do exploration or PvP as my main source of ISK. And so far, as you can see, I think I'm doing a pretty good job with that aspect of the game. However, if you like to run missions, that's okay. Missions do pay really well, and missions can be fun if you have a pretty good fleet and if you have a pretty good corporation. Then running missions is actually a very nice and satisfying thing to do. Although my corporation is 110% PvP oriented, so we don't do a lot of missions. We do exploration and we do PvP, and that's basically it. I think we have a couple industrial players as well. which is important because we can actually produce our own ships and our own modules without the need to go out and buy them in the market. Can actually get the ships a lot cheaper in this way. I'm pretty sure other corporations do the same thing, basically in-house ship manufacturing and in-house everything, the market included. Although I personally sell most of my items on the market. Now my capacitor is getting a little bit low. Let me use the capacitor battery here. There was a while ago a topic going on how to nerf the Apocalypse Striker, and I don't really think that this ship should be nerfed anymore. I mean, what's there to nerf, really, like, there's a lot of things that are not really that good on the Apocalypse Striker. The only good thing is the DPS, the range, and the efficiency at which it clears the missions. But the capacitor, the ship's velocity, the tank is pretty average, I would say. We have 45 ships in this wave, okay. Well, I was correct, I did expect 45 ships in the last wave. Right, well, I did base my expectations on one of the space rifts that we did a while ago. There the last wave had around 49 ships, and since this is a mission, I expected the amount of ships to be a little bit lower. So 45 ships for the last wave for this mission. Well, that's good to know. Let us continue removing the tackle ships first. The fastest ships get destroyed as primary target, and then we go after the slower and heavier ships. So far the local is pretty chill. We haven't... Ooh, that's a big frame drop. Let me quickly return to my ship. So far we haven't seen anyone actually pop in local, which is pretty good. This is after all our space, and I think we did a pretty good job to make sure that this space is clear. A lot of ships have been destroyed in our home region and around our home system, so it's actually pretty good that it's clear while we are running this mission. Helps a lot, honestly. Don't have to worry about the local that much. I just keep an eye on the local count and I pay close attention to local spikes. Now we have 4 Apocalypse Strikers, and well, I'm pretty sure that no tackle ship will live through this. So we have a lot of time and a lot of firepower to defend ourselves against any potential ship that decides to disturb our mission run here. Okay, 23 ships remain on the mission. Let me quickly adjust my approach at 100. Let's approach at 100. Just because that elite ship is coming really close to us, so just in case. But they're going down, so I don't have to worry about anything. The elite ship has been destroyed. Okay, let's enter siege mode again. Capacitor battery activated. Now let's continue shooting down the next ships, focusing down the Serpentis Dominix. Now this is in Serpentis space, so our targets are going to be Serpentis ships. In Amar space, you will probably fight Blood Raider ships. In Caldery, it will be the Gurista pirate ships, and so on. So the difficulty might differ between all of these missions, mostly because of the differences between the ships and the differences between the space that you are going to be running the mission at. Not quite sure if Serpentis is classified as the easiest, but I'm pretty sure that the Blood Raiders are classified as the most difficult one because they use a lot of tracking disruptors and things like that. While in Serpentis space they use dampeners, and I think they don't use tracking disruptors, they use that other module that I forgot the name of because I rarely use it, but in any case I personally believe that the mission in Amar space might be the most difficult one, although the bounty should also be pretty good in Amar space. Okay, well, let's not look at those ships up close, because that apparently kills my frame rate. That's okay. We have 14 ships remaining. Okay, I think I should actually focus on the logistic ships first, although so far I haven't noticed a problem with DPS. We have pretty good DPS at the moment. Now, I remember someone telling me that the logistic pirate ships repair a good amount of armor or shield to the other pirate ships. Now, I haven't really noticed that to be the case here. I think we talked about it when we were running a Inquisitor or Scout anomaly, tier 8, tier 9 or tier 10. That's where we did focus down the logistic ship. I think it was a elite logistic ship, so it did repair a lot of armor on the other pirate ships. That's basically the only time where I remember that we did focus down a pirate logistic ship in a anomaly encounter. Over here that doesn't seem to be the case. We are basically going through the tank of these ships very easily, like a hot knife through butter, as they say, and that seems to be the case with all of the ships here. Now, I would say that the elite ships have a little bit more tank. They appear to be a little bit more tanky, but nothing too serious, nothing too drastic. Wasn't really a big problem, honestly. Although now I'm actually wondering how the Amar mission would look like. Perhaps I will go visit Amar space and try to run one of those missions with the Balgorn or with the Apocalypse Striker. Maybe with the carrier, I don't know. Haven't been flying the carriers in a while, basically because I enjoy the dreadnoughts a little bit more. Most ships that we fight over here require a dreadnought to shoot down because of the ridiculous tank that a lot of our targets have. I'm actually trying to develop another brick tank for one of my ships. Not really sure how successful it will end up being. Maybe it will end up being good, maybe it will end up being bad. I will have to test it out before I make any mistakes with the current rig setup. The last two ships remain on the mission. And then I will go and loot the wrecks. I mean, not the wrecks, but the boxes. Okay, let's go to the loot window. We have 3 remain boxes and 1 ruin box. Well, let's approach. And well, hopefully, if we are a little bit lucky, we might get pretty decent loot. I have been told that the loot in the NullSec missions is a lot better than the loot in the high-sec missions. So I'm very, very excited to actually see what this mission will give us. I will approach the ruin box first, because I believe that's the most valuable box. Surprisingly, this ship is not that slow. I'm able to approach without a problem, and of course, the first loot wasn't that good. It was actually pretty bad. Very underwhelming first box. Oof. Underwhelming second box, okay. Let's go after the third one. Oof, not good. Okay, let's go after the next one. You know, it was definitely fun to clear the mission. But honestly, the loot feels a little bit underwhelming. Now it might be that my luck wasn't that good today. Maybe that's the case. But overall the mission was fun. Definitely fun to fly in a fleet and clear the mission. Let me quickly approach the next box. Okay, well, fingers crossed for the last box. Maybe it's good, and we got something. Okay, I don't know what that thing is, but I will dock to check it out. All boxes have been looted. Let's check the inventory. For some reason it doesn't load, so let's fleet warp to station. Well, I would say that the mission was
Warp drive
definitely
active.
fun to do. Although the loot could be a little bit better. Because the mission is challenging, I would say, because of all the ships and because of all the different things that are going on in the mission. But now it's time to check out what is that item that we did get from the mission. Okay, seems like all Apocalypse strikers have landed. Okay, that's perfect. Now let's enter the station.
Docking request accepted.
I'm pretty sure that the item we looted is used for reverse engineering, and it is. Well, 16, 17 million. I guess not bad. Well, that was it for this little mission. Overall, was very fun. It's quite challenging, and if you plan to run the missions, then I would recommend that you go with a fleet. And I personally would recommend that you go with sniper ships because it seems that this is the best way to go. So, with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.